다 고선 바자비 주네 네 두섬제 자하탐제제 다 droba치비 람보체 주선주 남제는 바스 대신은 뭐가서 보았지 다 대인 참네 레던 되베 남자 템페갑지.
As for the Dharma which is going to be listened to, this is the stage of the path, the stage of the path of the three beings, and it is the path along which all of the victors of the past, or the Buddhas of the past, present, and future have travelled, have passed. And specifically, we've reached the point of the explanation of karma and its results. And so then there were some corrections from yesterday, which I asked Geshe-gyalten and I if it would be okay to make. And so the first one is regarding senseless speech. So I managed to find a couple of mistakes anyway, not all of them. So with the senseless speech, with the basis, for the basis, there is no need to have what they call a kojil, the object which understands. Actually, it means the person which understands. So there's no need for the person to have a person that understands what you're saying. All you need is to have the speech, which is meaningless speech, meaningless words. Then when it comes to the completion, so with lying, the completion is not, the criterion for the completion is not success in deceiving the person, but just whether the person understood. But now with senseless speech, because the basis isn't a person which can understand, likewise the completion isn't to do with having a person understanding what you said. All you need to do is to have uttered the words, to have got the completion. Then when it comes to the recognition, as in other cases, there's this idea of recognizing that as that. So in the case of lying, divisive speech, and harsh speech, there when you're looking at the recognition, then there's the recognition in terms of the person that you're lying to and so on, recognizing that person as that. And then also the object of lie, in the sense of the thing that you're lying about, there has to be the recognition of that. But here, in the case of the senseless speech, all you need to have is recognition of with regard to the speech, the utterance that you've made. There's no need to have a recognition of a particular person involved. And when it comes to the motivation, usually when we're talking, then we consider the relevance of what we're saying and the connection between the things that we're saying now and that we've been saying. But in the case of the senseless speech, all this, it's just a question of saying whatever comes into your head without any regard for relevance. So that's about the senseless speech. And then the last thing that we were talking about towards the end with the covetousness. So there, Rinpoche made the comment that most desire, craving is coveting, because he was using this word dese, and then he explained that this is debeseba. So this is desire, craving desire, which means a craving for the objects of enjoyment of the desire realm. So most cases of this desire realm craving is covetousness, and then he went on to explain that there are these exceptions where we strive to achieve birth in as a human being and as a god, but it's not coveting when you're trying to create the karma to do that in order to be able to practice dharma in the future lives.
세바다, 징바다, 근데 예나 랑게 예남 말하다 예남 랑게 랑게다 런jen지 론조구나 지마로냐 바다 조바세마지 랑게 론조구나 지마로냐 바서 소소하세 고노들지.
Now, in this explanation of karma, we're looking at the 10 paths of negative karma. We've already looked at the first 7, the 7 negative paths of karma of the body and speech. So now we're looking at the 3 of the mind. We've already looked at the first of those, which is covetousness, and now we're moving on to the second one. What is it? The malice, or malice mind, ill will, malice. So there it says in the text that the recognition, the basis, the recognition, and the affliction is just like in the case of harsh speech. So that means that in the case of harsh speech, then the basis was any of the 9 bases for thorough, what do you call it? Sort of thorough. What's this word? Nazim. The words slip my mind. Anyway, sort of aggressiveness. The 9 beings, or the 9 objects of thorough aggressiveness. Anyway, this is something that came up when we were looking at the harsh speech. So it could be any of those, and then the discernment would be discernment or recognition of that being as being that being. So the recognition of that, as we've had before, and then so that would be the recognition then. So you've got the basis and the recognition, the basis of any of those 9, and the recognition of them of that being as being that being. Then the affliction, as in the case of harsh speech, can be any of the 3 afflictions of attachment, anger, and ignorance. And then when it comes to the motivation, then it talks about beating, etc. Or striking, etc. The striking, etc. So wishing to strike, etc. So the inside the this word, etc., includes various other ways of harming a person, that one might harm a person. And then it goes on to say that it also includes sort of like wishing for, as it says, killing, wishing to kill, to have them bound up, and either for them to degenerate in some way, or to sort of like suffer in some way, either due to others, or sort of naturally, or naturally, for them and for their possessions to degenerate naturally, or due to some other factors. Then where it says for the action, the jowa, the action, so it says sort of in the sense of sort of like applying to, or applying oneself to that thought, to that attitude. What that means is again and again thinking to oneself, may that person suffer in such and such a way, whichever came up at the time of the motivation. And then with the completion, there it's when it can be expressed either as sort of like when the thought becomes definite, or it can mean what that means is like when you've made up your mind, you've made the decision that you're going to harm that being in that way.
Ledam Muji Zobala, Nichunga Tongu Yoji. That agent that Anan Deya, no Simeon, Ledam Zobala, Chunga Tongu. Deonga Tona Zola, Chunga Boda Matona, nothing saying, no Sim, Ledam Muji Zoto Magic. Mezote, Banga Boda Garisana, no Ziji Jola, they don't be true, and Semen Simbes, and Imada, Dushi, no Ziji Jola, that they don't tamba, no be Jew, Semen Zimba, Dushiba, Imbare, and Regine, Della Shedong Simsingores. That nobody can della, that's all Mezobe, Mezobe Semda, Sobago Matavachi, Mezobe Semda. Yanda yonder Tsuji member, contribute Yila Cheba. That's Tsuji Mayimba. Nobody was changing Chumayina, and the Judela, some no yoni on the door, a chain the one and the control, a chair. Immerit. Yila Cheba Tremby, condensed me some conscience. That Digwata, Sena, Digwata, Sebado, and the conscience, Jimaro Yamda, the John, Jimaro Yamba, Tela Kuisepti. No sim Jeba Tela, Reda, Mosa Meba, Mosa Mishiba. And no sim Jimmy and the Yin Yuma Mishiba. In Bertega, Sajin on the Simpson, Semata de Bajona, the language is home.
Then, with the then it says when we look at the just below there, it has the explanation about these 5 features or these 5 criteria, and so just like in the case of covetousness, the covetousness isn't complete unless there was that list of 5 criteria that needed to be complete. If any of those was missing, that wouldn't be complete covetousness. Likewise here, for it to be a sort of fully characterized or fully qualified mind of malice or ill will, you also have to have 5 features or 5 criteria. So the first one, as we're going through these, let's see, an attitude of hostility driven by a reifying apprehension of the characteristics of the cause of harm and the phenomena related to them. So it's by apprehension of those the causes of the harm, the characteristics of the cause of the harm, and so forth, which give rise to a mind of anger. And then with this second one, an impatient attitude by way of not being patient with those doing the harm to you. This is talking about not being able to put up with the harm that's been done. In other words, not being able to practice patience or meditate on patience towards that harm. Then, so that's the sort of mind of intolerance. Then with the the third one, then due to this inappropriate attention of, if I can go to the English again, a resentful attitude based on repeated improper attention to and mindfulness of the causes of your anger. So sort of like inappropriate attention or inappropriate attention or focusing on the cause of the anger and repeatedly reflecting on that, repeatedly thinking on that would be what's understood by this third one. This third one. Then with the fourth one, this one involves thinking, like how wonderful it would be, how wonderful it would be if that person could be hit, or if I could hit that person or kill that person, and so on. These various ways of harming the person that were mentioned above. So this kind of thoroughly hostile mind or thoroughly aggressive mind. Then with the fifth one, then this is the condition or the criterion of having no shame and consideration or shyness, shame and consideration, about your feeling of ill will, and also not having, due to being sort of overcome by this mind of ill will, not being able to see the drawbacks, and not wanting to sort of like refrain from it due to seeing the drawbacks. That would be the fifth one. Yes.
dāla nōpa chēsam chēpa o ñamne dā kōna nāksim chēpi chē tēla mēne dē dāla nōpa ngā chēpa rēs yōna tāndā chēpa o ñamne tēla nōpa chēpi chē dā samno kāsē tōngpa yinā tē tamchē nōsim yūgī wā rēs jēnyē sēpa tēnyē tamchē nōsim yinā dā tēla nōpa chēpi chē sāmba māsē tē jēndō 이제는 년도 논조도 배워놔서 봐. 냠로지 나서 뭐 냠발 뭐 봐. 다 뭐서 그래 롱게네. 그 심바. 냠나 냠be 심바. 근데지 요도는 다 뭐 봐서요. 냠발 뭐 봐다. 천만나 년도 손나 냠도 뭐 봐요. 노심서. 그래 되지요. 노심 잡는 중요해.
Then, if any of these five is not present, then it would be sort of simple or mere ill will. It wouldn't be this fully qualified, the full body or the complete body of the negative karma. So then, other cases are mentioned here where it would be ill will. Sort of like simple or mere ill will, not necessarily the completely fully qualified ill will, would be where you're thinking, you sort of like think about some harm that a person has done to you, or that they are doing you, or you think that they might do, and then you're thinking of how to hurt that person in retaliation. So similarly. It would. This would also be the case, where you've got mere ill will. If you're simply praying, thinking, may their possessions, may their wealth and so on deteriorate, may they degenerate. So praying that. So then, so like so like sort of like wishing for that, like thinking and wishing for that to happen.
Thinking the other person goes lower.
Oh, sorry, I missed that. Yes, also thinking how wonderful it would be, or wishing, praying for the person to be born in the lower realms. That would also be this mere ill will.
로버타 비전에 요비 도노 이마다 단다 제일 로다라 일단 매발 요버타 와요 요거로 이나 단단데 로다데 이마다 계자 조제제 로다 제주 이자 된데 인도 요비 도나 근데 매발 거 반대 봐 이자 로버타 비제 이제는 요비 도래스
Okay, so in here it says. Then we move on to the wrong view. So there it mentions that for the basis it should be as something which is existent, some object which is existent. So in general, it's true that wrong view can apply to something which doesn't exist, but here. Here that's not the case. This is this wrong view, which is one of the 10 negative karmas. That's they're the basis. The object is something which does exist.
Sambala somne dushine kobande betana demban dushi bawo. Idenda tanande kunde so yobala meperta yundu kobande bas. So Mebale Yobartavala, Drondo, Quacherva. The Drondo couldn't dip down. Drondo Lota, couldn't be Lota, you been known it, and then the Kuban de Pitona, Yobate, Mebarta Vitona, Demban de Shiva was. Imbata meta jures a mezono, Meba res, Meba Imbatella, at Demban de Shine, and Kuban de Vioci.
Then, with the recognition, with the attitude, there again we have these 3 points to look at. The first of which is the recognition. So it says recognizing. Literally, it says recognizing the object which is being denied as true. So what that means is that, generally speaking, when you view something which is existent as non-existent, that's referred to as denial. And when you're viewing something which is non-existent as existent, that's superimposition or exaggeration. So here, it's since the object is something which exists, so we have to see it in terms of denial, not exaggeration. Denial. So it's where you when it says. So it's like denying the existence of something which does exist. And when it says recognizing that as true, what that means is that in your mind you've got this thought that it definitely doesn't exist. So you feel it's true that it doesn't exist. Then with the affliction, again, all three are possible. It's possible to have it's possible to have the wrong view. The wrong view due to hatred. It's also possible to have it due to anger. It's also not hatred, not anger, attachment, hatred or attachment, and it can also come due to ignorance because of simply not knowing. So, due to not knowing, then the ignorance would serve as a part of the attitude that motivates you to think that this doesn't exist. Then with the motivation, it's sort of this is the wish to deny. That would be the motivation, the wish to deny the existence of that object. And then with the application, as it says here, sort of like beginning to apply yourself in that attitude, in that thought. What that means is again and again having this thought that such a thing which actually does exist doesn't exist. Then it mentions that there are four possibilities here. Now, actually, if you look in your English now, then you see there's a number that's sort of printed in bold type. That refers to the number in this Tibetan text. So we're just at the bottom of page 172 and just about to move on to just moving on to page 173. That's quite easy to explain. Then, it says that there are these four cases for denial. One is with regard to the cause, then the result, then the agent or of activity, and then something which exists, something which exists. So, thinking that any of those which actually do exist doesn't exist would be denial. And then the explanation here, so denial with respect to a cause, would be this is talking specifically about how the cause of happiness is good conduct, excellent conduct, or the practice of virtue, and then the cause of suffering is wrong conduct or non-virtue. So denial of the cause would be saying that the cause of happiness, this virtue, and the cause of suffering, or the cause of suffering, which is the non-virtue, doesn't exist. And then with this, the second one, the result, this would be thinking like denying the existence of a ripening result of virtue and non-virtue. So the ripening result of virtue is happiness, the ripening result of non-virtue is suffering. So saying that there is no such ripening result of virtue and non-virtue would be also a case of denial, in this case of the wrong view.
Imrata tanda kondepte le jumre ko bande baseyachi ata chebala ko bande seyande imrata chewangam se be bataya imrata tela cheba ko bada somne samon de badan zimbe cheba ko bande samon de baseyande ata chewasma chevalembala ne paya samon de 마이 상원된 진에 나도 야지 진이 제고 여러 얘들 대답하는 상원 대봐도 진배 제발하고 반에 파도만 매도 세야대 상원된 되게 제발하고 봤지 다 제왕만 되어 되는 천만로 로바도 오미 잡아요 말이지 제발하고 반에 직행함스 매도 이제 내가 아마도 치마요 말했어도 아마는 내용은 내제 치마로 요 말했어야지 차로로 대개는 로게 제발고 봤어요 말. 제발은 주르비 제발고 봤네. 이 말이다. 제발은 말라 제발 주발라 근데 발도 주고 요로. 발도 주제는 제발된 거인데 발도 semjende 주지지. 근데 제발 주비 제발고 봤네. 심지 주도 제발 매도서다 어떤다 발도 매도서 야노 자이말.
Then those two, the denial, those two are denial with respect to cause and effect, and then there's denial with respect to agent or activity. Depends on which one of these you're looking at. These are to do with denial of future and past lives. So with the first one, where it talks about the seed, the sower of the seed, and then the retainer of the seed. So basically, when you take birth, then as a human being, for example, then you do so by depending upon the seed of the father and the seed of the mother. So the seed of the father and the egg of the mother. So here it would mean denying the existence of the father and mother. Generally denying the existence of a father and mother in that case.
But father plant seed, mother preserved, mother keep the seed. Mother keep seed.
So in a sense, the one that sows the seed is the father, and then the mother holds or holds that seed. No. And then with the second one, this one is. It says holding that they're denying coming and going, something like that, denying coming and going. So this is a denial of past and future lives, because generally speaking, when there's past lives, we come from past lives, we go on to future lives. So when it talks about denial of coming and going, this is denial of past and future lives. And then with the third one, this is a denial of, literally it mentions here, denial of miraculous birth. So this is actually a denial of the intermediate state, the bardo, because actually the bardo being the intermediate state being that we go into between lives, that's described as a miraculous birth, a miraculous birth. So if you're saying that there is no such thing as miraculous birth, that sentient beings never have a miraculous birth, then what you're doing is you're denying the existence of the bardo state. No.
Not a miraculous birth, not a miracle birth, not a miracle. It's instant.
Spontaneous.
Spontaneous birth.
Okay.
Not,
yeah.
Not a miracle. Not a miracle.
But yes, not a miraculous birth. A spontaneous birth. Spontaneous birth. So denial that there is spontaneous birth, which becomes a denial of the existence of the bardo being. No.
유는 레어도 제발아 고야다야 되서요. 여병우보다 고바다 용한다라. 근데 단다 내시 체인도 여병우보다 고바네. 라죠마서 매도 시바고. 이제 다기 줌레다 제바다 맞아봤지. 제르다 라죠마 매도세. 소인도 여병우보다 고반데 맞아 이 말이. 다 라죠마 매도세야다. 영한다바 송아 매도, 영한다바 쇼가 매도세야. 드네요 이 말은 다 라죠 맞지 영화다바 송화세나 그래다 설명하다 이 말에 노발래야 내사지 영화다바 쇼가 유유다 인데는 르 단다 드네지보데라 매도스 고바데 바다 다 대제는 라선제 매도세 선제 매도세 단다 고바다 바데서 여배우 고바다 바지
Then with this, the fourth one, it mentions, it's described here as denial of things which exist. In fact, the first three, the denial of cause and result and of agent or activity, those are all denial of something which exists. But specifically here, when it says denial of something which exists, this refers to the denial of the what it actually what actually says here is like the denying the existence of arhats. It also it includes denial of the existence of those who have gone perfectly. That is, those who are described as having gone perfectly. This refers to the non-returner. Then the denial of the existence of those who have entered perfectly. This refers to the those who have non-returner, the Jibim Allahs. So, sorry, with that first one, the denial of the existence of those who have gone perfectly. That means gone perfectly beyond the desire realm. That refers to the non-returner out of the four these four types of hero practitioner. Then the denial of the one who has perfectly entered. That refers to the denial of the existence of the once returner, and it also in this sort of category is also included the denial of the existence of arhats in general, also the existence of Buddhas and so forth.
단 내용 야랑아 중앙 촌나 옛날에 가서 로테 레랑우지 도구가지 중앙에 마토바이나 그다 로다 잠마도 레랑우지 요메 말에 내용에 저대스 나도 총고요래 시작 제다와지는 미시베 몸비 샘도 인다다 고바 내야 돼 저 아니 시작 제다와 마시지 대임 용이 여러 안데 몸비 샘도 누가가 위자 쇼지 샘도 다 가지지 로니 dikpala ga ta dikpala ga go joya ge che de jiwa ngamze yomare le jumde yomare sene lo ta da de ge tenju samya da de yo ge yorwa de dikpala ga ge tra shu je sem no sia suji membe chula nge bar to be lo bar jun de shu se no imar ta da ge 성원된 지 제바다가 데 여와르와 근데 내가 추지 많이 받체네 여 말해서 그때를 추라 네버도 봐 그래당 네버도 봐 근데 내가 냐 받다 이 말에 추지 많이 추라 내다 추지 많이 받는데 내가 냐도 로버 존도 슈비셈지 근데 짐바도 추지도 제세도 되게서 매도 다 짐바동하지 초진세인데 인치로베 아까도 만족해서 초진세야 세야텐데 몸보대서 제네 저가 보여서야 있어 다 제세 매라세자세야 제세지 리제세야 돼 리버제바세인데 손남게 매게 임바리야 리제 소 매도 세다 리제다 대인도서 매도 시고반 대비 랍드냠비 셈도 로다디 고서 매진 메티 니밀레 니반주와 미시 니밀이야 도답 미시 그 세진노 메셈데 나보다 다다데 뭐 대가마 손남 메서서
how to then so then with the if we look at the completion, this is where it mentions again being like some certainty, the certainty with regard to the denial. That means making up your mind, making a firm decision that that such a thing does not exist. And so now, like in the two previous cases, there also need to be 5 criteria to make which need to be complete in order to make this to make the wrong view the actual body of the negative karma of wrong view. With any of these 5 missing, then it would be mere wrong view. It would be wrong view, but it would be mere wrong view. It wouldn't be the complete wrong view, which is the 10th negative karma. Then with the first one. We're still on page 173 in the Tibetan. So the first one, you should find a list of 5 points there. This is getting at the point that mostly when we generate this, or create this this karma of wrong view, it's due to not knowing or due to ignorance. And then with the second one. Here the explanation is that there are some people who like to engage in negative karmas, to do evil actions, and certain evil actions, and therefore they deny the existence of past and future lives, and they even compose treatises to disprove the existence of past and future lives. Then. So with the third one, we had this example before of denial of the sow of the seed and so forth. So whichever one it is, this involves literally it says sort of like definitely analyzing. What this means is due to inappropriate attention again. Again and again, continuously giving rise to this mind of denial of this object which actually exists. Then with the fourth one, their generosity is quite clear. Then when it talks, I don't know what making offerings anyway. Something like there should be another one just after that, which says something like making offerings. That would refer to. For example, we have the Titika or the non-Buddhist extremists, their practice of making sacrifice, sometimes going as far as to sacrifice many creatures altogether, and then also what do you call it, the fire offerings, fire offerings. So then with the where it mentions good conduct, where does it say an attitude that is impaired because of mistaken denial, that thinks that such things as gifts, religious offerings, burnt offerings, and right behavior. There where it says right behavior, that's another word for another way of saying merit. So here the fourth one would be again thinking that such things don't exist. And then with the fifth one, not having the shame and consideration to which would prevent one from engaging in such a negative action, this wrong view, and not having the antidote due to being overwhelmed by the wrong view, not having the antidote, the antidote that would be able to remedy it. You know.
로바타와 현용 요모지 데코나나 로다시 소만에 디게서 던지 조지 데발은 로고 조바는 틈이나 로다 틈지 치시 미체로 레타 로다라 반다 내성돼야돼 건데 로다 소마로와 다 건데 로다 소마로 근데 로다시 존도 로다에 요레스 인다 인다 단단데 네 건데 지보송과 가르세나 네 그다 장감스요 말에 생연도 근데 개사 조용 요래 로니 근데고 내가보 득반은 셈고 장감스 매나다 득반은 셈고 소노지 자 근데 득반은 노고 줘봐 노고 줘봐 강고 줘봐 또 tombacha노도 되는데 너도 담지 체슈를 성이 더 론도 로다 이마이나 공사에 나왔다고 높았다고 하더라. 공사에 나왔다고 라이에스. 동반이는 로가스만에 대다 많이 넣어서 말아. 근데 공사에 나왔는 라이에스 가르쳐 말했나? 공사에 나왔다고 했나? 대에 레줌레도 넣고 말했어. 일단 다 여발다네. 저스마서 여봤다 저스만 되게 돈도 개발쪽 되고 보냐 되는 용기를 네 옛날라요 뒤에 개발쪽 되고 본 거래서네 라비도 예나요 너버지 말했어 다 론도데 가서 건드도 되시죠 되는 인자 레단다 론도도다 마성 말했어
Then there is such a here it's been talking about basically the wrong view which is denial. There is also superimposition or exaggeration, which is also a type of wrong view. So you might wonder why it's not taught. Why it's not taught here, as you know, under the heading of the 10 negative karmas, the 10th negative karma of wrong view. The reason for that is that with denial, for example, if we talk about denial of past and future lives, then if you believe that there are no past and future lives, then there would be no reason for you to refrain from negative actions. There would be no need for you to engage in positive actions. So therefore, it would do a great deal of damage to you, and also having such an idea is compatible. It says here then it is the greatest of all wrong views, and that is through this wrong view that you sever all your further. It is this wrong view that is conducive to your doing whatever sins or negative actions that you want. But now, if we were to say that superimposition or exaggeration were also wrong view in the sense of this 10th negative karma of wrong view, then, well, there's the grasping at the self of the person, the grasping at the person as self-existent. Now that's superimposition, that's exaggeration, and yet it's not counted here. And the reason is there's one passage that Rinpoche, one text which Rinpoche quoted, which explains that with the person, it's sort of like it's quite easy, which means with self-grasping of the person, it's quite easy, because even if you do have this that type of wrong view, it's actually wrong view, that kind of exaggeration or superimposition, it doesn't stop you from engaging in positive actions. It doesn't prevent you from discarding or avoiding negative actions, based upon the view that there is a self-existing person. You would still want to avoid negative karma, and you would still want to practice positive karma. So it doesn't harm you in that way. So out of these two, the superimposition and denial, the denial is by far the worst, and it's for this reason that it's the one that's counted here.
동반이라 다니나 시럽 존나 봉한 조르스 소마르와 근데 동반이라 다니나 시럽 존나 봉한 조르스야 돼요 난다 난데 지구발이 말이야 얘다 동반이래서 연도 주담지 로지 동반이래서요 또 주담지 요 말에 매발이래서요 말와 근데 다들 다니네 다도 동반이 로지 동바다 로지 주바도 요반이 찍듯어 로지 주바카요도 요바테요카 아까 강가 매노도 근데 매발 좀만이나 건들로다 차요로 대차와이다다 롱포 예요 봉지요인도 동만이가 다니나 싫어주는 봉한조스 소위 말해
Then there's a passage also from the scriptures which mentions that if one views incorrectly, if one's view is incorrect, then or by viewing incorrectly, wrongly, then those with who are limited in wisdom, or those with small wisdom, are sort of, that brings about a downfall for them. When it talks about having some fault in the view, then this is not talking about the viewing the self as being like self-existent or truly existent. It's talking about the fact that if one confuses confuses inherent existence with existence, or in other words, sort of like feels that they are the same, conceives them as being the same, then when you come to to refute inherent existence or natural existence, then you deny the existence of the thing in general, because you've got them equated. Then that would lead you to a denial of everything. You would think that there's nothing which exists, and then this is the view which would bring about, as it mentions here, bring about the downfall, bring about sort of like downfall for those of small wisdom, little wisdom.
Will have a loss. So, if one may mistake the way of looking at things found as empty, if one may mistake, then those who have small wisdom will will experience loss.
Loss. Thank you.
Nimatate 나불이 남죠. 그랬다 뭐가 되지 사지. 다대다 뇽 도망고 좀 유도거나 뇽모 간지적인 거소. 요거는 다른 제야대 뇽모 간지적인 단계가 요래서나 대라 소조다 측수도 노심네 고좀 유도거나 두숨지 좀을 제라 뇽모네 두숨 어세 요대는 제지 고좀이야대 두숨게 고좀이야다 두숨가 요래서 다 탈치야대 셰동은 탈진만 제정이 그래다 소조다 이나 다 그 소조요도 선도지선 셰동들이 그러와 측조요 타는 많이 되거나 셰동고게 측조벌라야지 너스면 되겠네 탈진만 제야 돼 셰동은 탈진만 제 근데 마질내다 노엠다 나sem네 고점이야데 두숨지 sombar지 그래 탈체야데 노자 코닌 탈진 봤어 마진 레야도 그게 잘라들 차고도 그래도 로이는 차고지 남선요 차고요 이게 누가 된지도 이 말에 로자콘이 단지노.
Then that completes the sort of the main explanation, the main body of the explanation of the these 10 negative karmas. Then the question might arise as to which of the 3 poisonous minds, those 3 poisonous minds is sort of involved in beginning one as one begins to engage in one of those 10 negative karmas, and which one is sort of responsible or present there as one responsible for bringing it to an end. Which one is there bringing the action to a completion? So now, in the case of killing, harsh speech, and malice or ill will, then at the beginning, the delusion which sort of gets you started with engaging in any of those 3 can be. Any of those 3 actions can be any of the 3 poisonous minds, attachment, anger, or ignorance. But when it comes to bringing the action to completion, like for example with the, in fact with in the case of killing, also with the harsh speech and also with the ill will, it would be hatred that would be bringing it to completion. And then in the case of stealing, sexual misconduct, and the covetousness, those 3. Again, any of the 3 poisonous minds can be motivating or responsible for starting out on or initially engaging in that negative karma, and it will be only attachment in all 3 of those cases. It would only be attachment that would be sort of bringing the action to completion, bringing that karma to completion.
이거다 저도 참아도 세자바 내가 저전에 좀바도 다지만이가 숨겨지 제정 그래도 주마요도 도망고 좀이야 도송이 좀이야 요래서 요 주마요도 거나 다 셰도게 달지야 다른 도자 같은 목이 다지마 송가 용이야지 다 참아요 내가 세자바요 숨겨지 좀씩 숨겨지 다지마 제발이야.
Then, in the case of lying, the divisive speech and harsh speech, in all 3, no, not harsh speech. In the case of lying, divisive speech, and senseless speech, in all 3 of those cases, the one that's involved in getting you to begin engaging in that negative karma can be any of the 3 poisons of attachment, anger, and ignorance. And likewise, when we look at the which of the afflictions is responsible for bringing the negative karma to completion, in the case of the lying, it can be any of the 3. Also, in the case of the divisive speech, it can be any of the 3, and also in the case of the senseless speech, it can be any of the 3.
이마다 로단에 녀모스무가게 좀 봐요. 동부 녀모 고노야 논제게 녀모들라 송가요지. 좀 봐제라 제스다 고한다바 녜바 제야데 무버체다와지도 마시야지. 때모 코니 타르도 버체 그래서.
Then with the wrong view. Now, wrong view can the one which sort of is the motivating delusion, which gets you started in that negative karma of wrong view. That can be any of the 3. It can be attachment, it can be anger, it can be ignorance, it can be any of those 3. but when it comes to the one which is involved in bringing it to completion, like where you're thinking, as it was described, when you reach the point in your mind where you think definitely you completely made up your mind that that this thing doesn't exist. So the which of the poisons is involved in bringing you to that point, bringing it to completion. That would be only the ignorance, which is like this mind which doesn't understand the actual nature of things. Then in the Tibetan text we've moved to page 174, if you can find that. It's on somewhere halfway down page 227 by the looks of it. There now there is sort of an analysis of or an examination of karma and or action and karmic path, the path of karma, the path of action. And so in fact there are three possibilities. There's a possibility of something which is karma but not a karmic path, and there's a possibility of something being karma and also a karmic path, and there's also a third possibility of something being a karmic path but not karma. So now in the case of the 7 actions of body and speech, the motivation for that kind of intention, literally semba, mental factor intention, that's karma, and it's not a karmic path. So generally speaking, the definition, the definition of karma is intention. Intention being this one of the mental factors. So that's where it's defined. So then why it's not the karmic path, if I've got this, because of not being, because of those 7 not being the bases. To be a karmic path, it has to be the basis for the in which the mental factor intention engages. So since those 7 are not bases in which the mental factor intention engages, so they're not karmic paths.
So joba majimba lemba se luje jawa doing the mawa so mawa se nga ka jawa yin za le jong yin la de da la ko no se man ju bi yin yin de se man ju yo yin za le je la ja de yo res yin ga de nga de ji
Danke, Lungaki dun ki kunundu gyurit samatil. Now, I think I might not have translated that clearly. There, that example we've just looked at, we were specifically looking at the motive, the intention, which is a motivating factor for those 7 of body and speech, right? We weren't looking at those 7 of body and speech themselves. Now, in the case of the 7 karmas of body and speech themselves, so those, for example, the karma of killing. So that involves action. Each of them involves some kind of action, and so they are bases in which this mental factor intention engages. And so, for that reason, their karma. These are the 7 karmas, right, of body and speech. So they're karma, and they're also karmic paths. Because to be a karmic path, it has to be something which acts as the basis for the mental factor intention to engage in. And so, since they are basis for the mental factor intention to engage in, they're also karmic paths as well as being karmas.
이제 대제요 고농게 선반 유비제 군년농제 요인자 고농 선반 유비제 인자 레질람이스 이나 대제는 레마이스 레는 메노스 다 레메 마카르스나 아니 뇨모레스 그래서 뇨모다 레 가와 아타무슨 말이 다 저는 제라마비 소리요
Then with the 3 negative karmas of mind, all of these are the karmic paths. They're all karmic paths because of being the bases in which the mental factor intention engages, but they're not karma. And the reason that they're not karma, although they're karmic paths, they're not karma, is because they're afflictions or they're delusions. And the mental factor intention on the one hand and the delusion on the other hand, these two, delusion and intention, are contradictory. There's nothing which can be both of them. So therefore, since those 3 are karma, they are delusions, so they can't be karma for that reason. And this is something which is a teaching in the Vaibhashika system.
이마다 소주다벨라 소주비 내놈 조세대하게 소주가 내대 간이제를 그래서나 다나 그다 소주바다 그래 자와대도 냠는 주비 선바대라 소주지 레스기 와이 말이 다 제가 뭐 다나네 소주비 갑지 소지 넘버를 제대로 많이 배우세요. 되는지라 레스기 와이 이나요다 다나 그다 론주반 다 심도 같은 데 갑지나 스마트폰 이야기하지. 단조비요 누가게 된데 소리 이야기하래.
Then, if in the case of the karma of killing, when you have in fact, I mentioned something which he said before that I left out. He was making the point that those 3 of the mind, of course, when all of the 5 criteria are complete, then they would become those karmic paths. So then, so they would be the karmic paths, but they wouldn't be karma. Now, in the case of the karma of killing, so when you have the complete karmic path of killing, then according to the way it's explained here is that the karma of killing refers to this action of killing, including the mental factor intention. So it's counted as being this mental factor of intention. According to the Vaibhashika system,
engaging in it. Engaging.
The mental factor of intention, engaging in it. And that's the way that the negative karma of killing is described. So, according to the Vaibhashika system, so the way that they talk about karma, they consider it to be form, like this negative karma of killing. They consider it to be form, because they are able to make this distinction between the form, which is how would you say that? No.
Appearing form.
Appearing form. So they talk about two types of form, which we can call visible form and invisible form. The visible form is where there is it applies to a type of form which is a case where the motivation can be inferred, can be inferred from that form. And when we talk about the invisible form, that's a case where the motivation can't be inferred. So
you can't tell the motivation from that through that form.
Yes. Yeah. So from that form, you wouldn't be able to tell the motivation. That's simple, the way of putting it. Then, according to the Svatantrika systems, the Svatantrika and Chittapantra systems, karma is the mental factor intention. And then again, when you move... Rangrupa. The Svatantrika and the Chittapantra, they both say that the karma is the mental factor intention. And then with the Prasangika system, they also talk about, they also describe karma as being form or having form.
Manda.